Welcome back, learners. I am Dr. Munish Bharadwaj, coordinator of this program, Advanced Certificate in Power Distribution Management at the School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. We were discussing about the acts and policies for the last 3 sessions today. Before we move further on this topic, I would like to share some information with our learners who might have joined us late. Though I informed our learners in bits and pieces this information, but I would like to again inform you about this program. As you know, this program is a 6 months program and it was supposed to start by July and up to December. But on the request from various corners, we extended the last date of submission of admission forms to 31st July. Because of that, there was a delay in commencement of the program for this session, because it takes time for processing of the admission forms, and there are many formalities before we reach to the final data here at headquarters of IGNOU. And after getting this data from various regional offices, we then process it here at our student registration and evaluation division. Then ultimately that data goes to the material production and distribution division. And till now we have received 480 students data out of that 535. We are still waiting for the data of the 55 students from Gujarat, and these students will get the material little bit late in comparison to the others. There will be a delay of we can say 10 to 15 days for these candidates, so I'm sorry for that. And secondly, the video conferencing sessions were commenced yesterday. First session was on yesterday on 15th of September, and this is for information that now onward up to November end, every Saturday Sunday there will be these video conferencing sessions on different topics with different experts. And after the end of the study of this 6 months duration, as you know, for every program there is examination. So here in this program also there is examination that will be in December, and for appearing in December examination you are required to fill in the examination form. And these examination form I have dispatched for you along with a letter. You can fill in that examination form along with the examination fee of rupees 150. You can fill in the examination form online also. There is a provision. You go to the IGNOU website www.ignou.ac.in. So at this website, at the home page, you will find a submission of examination form, a link submission of examination form for December 2007 TEE, term end examination. So through this link you can apply for this, you can fill in the examination form online. And there are various guidelines there that how can you deposit your fee online. So read those instructions before filling in that examination form, and finally you can fill in that examination form online also. Otherwise, I have dispatched you the examination form and other details through letter. It will reach you within 2-3 days, and you can apply through that paper examination form also. So this is all about this program. During the discussions, various information which you can additionally get, we were in the process of telling you some websites and the email addresses. First thing was that the material has been dispatched to you, that books we have dispatched to you. Some students have received it and some are in the process of receiving it. In the meantime, you can access this material, these books, in the form of the PDF format, printable document format, PDF format, at the website of DRUM project of the Ministry of Power. The website for this is www.drumindia.org. DRUM, D-R-U-M, India, I-N-D-I-A, DRUM India, one word without gap. So www.drumindia.org. At the 8 booklets or the 8 blocks are there in the form of PDF format. So you can download and you can go through these. blocks. In the meantime, the print material reaches you. Second website which may be of your interest for getting some documents, some policy matters, some acts, it is of the Ministry of Power. It is www.powermin, P-O-W-E-R, power, for ministry it is min, powermin, min.nic.in. Here you can access various policies, acts regarding other matters for the Ministry of Power. So this is the website of Ministry of Power. Another website which may be of your interest is of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Because conservation energy, energy efficiency related matters, you can find many things of your interest at this website. It is www.bee-india.nic.in. I will again repeat, www.bee-india.nic.in. This is the website of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So you can download some interesting matter regarding the Conservation of Energy Act, regarding matters conservation, building conservation, energy of conservation in buildings. So many things, interesting things are there at this website which you can download freely. Another website, it is of the Central Electricity Authority. You can write down the website address of Central Electricity Authority, www.cea.nic.in. And of course I have told you the website of IGNOU also, www.ignou.ac.in. So www.ignou.ac.in. So these are the important websites which may be of your interest for various matters. And regarding that email addresses, you can contact me at that email ID acpdm, that is the name of the program, acpdm_ignou, IGNOU @yahoo.co.in. At this address you can contact me. And there is a Yahoo group also. You can request for joining this Yahoo group, and you can express yourself, and you will get many files uploaded there of your interest. Presentations are uploaded there, some schedules are uploaded there, and you can interact with your peer group through this Yahoo group. So you can, but for that you have to send me the request at this address, email ID acpdm_ignou @yahoo.co.in, and I'll permit you for joining that Yahoo group, and you can interact with your peer group, as well as you can have access to various important files which have the important information regarding the ACPDM program. So this was all about this information. We were discussing about the acts and policies. So we will continue to discuss. Now I would like to request Mrs. Anjali Chandra to please continue the discussions.
Welcome back, friends. We were discussing the recommendations of the integrated energy policy, and we talked about nuclear power. The other recommendations are role of renewables. This is very important. The renewable sources of energy in electricity are the biomass, the solar, the small hydro, the wind energy, the geothermal energy. All these have to play a role in our electricity supply, and the DISCOMs have to procure a certain percentage of electricity from the renewable sources of energy.
In this regard, let me supplement this. The total installed capacity based on the renewable source of power is about 10,000 megawatt in the country, out of 1,35,700 megawatt present installed capacity. And this mostly it is consisting of wind energy, about 7,000, and there are some small hydro, there are some solar power, and some biomass thing is also included. But the main Anjali has pointed out that there are regulations in this regard, and the regulatory commissions are supposed to issue guidelines not guidelines, rather notifications to be complied, that the distribution companies would be obliged to buy a certain percentage of the renewable power. It may be 5%, it may be 10%.
Whatever be the cost.
Whatever be the cost, it must buy, must run. This is of that category. So it means consciously, in a transparent manner, we know that 5%, for example, if it is 5%, 5% of the power is being purchased from the renewable source of energy. Now this would be deemed to be purchased. It is not necessary, for example, Delhi should purchase 5% power. Not necessarily that Delhi should have the renewable source of energy. But since the grid is interconnected, it will be deemed to be purchased from wherever it is being generated. So that is the kind of regulations which are coming up. But the one aspect of worry about the renewable source of energy, it is correct that it does replace.
Yes. Yes, please, Rajkot, please speak.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Rajagopal.
Ji.
SCPDM students have attended and they are listening to your program. They feel very comfortable. And even the previous batch students also attended. They are also showing very much interest because they have not given their examinations. Now the thing is, they said that they have not received some of the course material pertaining to their batch. And when positively they would be expecting this course material, just they are inquiring. On behalf of them, I have requested you this information, sir. Thank you, brothers, sir, and others.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajgopalji. And this is to inform you all students of the previous batch and the current batch also that out of the 13 booklets or the 13 blocks, 8 block we have dispatched to all students. For the rest of the 5 blocks, 3 blocks we will be dispatching by the end of this coming week. And then 2 books, the remaining 2 books, we will be dispatching around in the first week of October. So this is about the rest of the 5 blocks. Thank you.
So I was explaining to you about this renewable source of energy. The one cause of worry, little cause of worry, but it is not in India, it is all the world over, that the contribution of the renewable source of energy in the sector as compared to their installed capacity is very low. For example, we have about 10%, slightly less than 10% capacity, 10,000 megawatt on renewable source of energy, but the contribution is only around 1%. This is number one aspect, so we cannot depend on it as such. Number 2 aspect is that the say windmill or wind power is also not a dispatchable type of energy. I mean, we cannot program that okay, you will get dispatch schedule or the generation schedule. We cannot fix up. Whenever the wind will blow, and then there is automation on these machines, automatically they sense a certain velocity of the wind and then start generating. So these are 2 negative aspects. The third one is that we are worried about the cost. You know that in all our policies, integrated energy policy or the other policies, the low cost of energy is one factor which is there. The installation cost of these windmills is very high, and I have been taking up personally and CA in all forums that the cost of the installation of the windmills must come down, because the amount of equipment involved in the windmills as compared to the conventional coal-fired power station or a hydro power station or a nuclear power station is very, very little. And but then since because of the policy, because of the rules and regulations and other government stipulations, the suppliers are exploiting the situation and giving us a higher cost of installation of these mills. And there is an urgent need that we must sponsor research projects to bring down the cost of this energy. This is another area of the. But then the policy is there to promote the renewable source of energy from 2 considerations. One is the environment angle, the Kyoto Protocol, for example, the CDM mechanism, reduction of CO2, reduction of the fossil fuels is one driving force. Why do we want to concentrate on the renewable source of energy? The hydro, large hydro till so far have not been considered as the renewable source of energy in the international scenario. But we have been pressing hard, and we do recognize from the recent publication of CA, we have already declared in this country that large hydro is also a renewable source of energy. if you see the CA's website or CA's latest publication, we are indicating the total hydro as a renewable source of energy, and this helps us in taking up this issue in the international fora who do not recognize the large hydro as a renewable source of energy, because if they do it, then this would be a good, we would fetch good money for under the CDM mechanism, because we are promoting hydro, and this is how it is. But the high efficiency technologies also qualify for, because I made a reference to the CDM and Kyoto Protocol, and I am glad to inform you that 2 days ago our supercritical technology, which was rejected in the executive board to be eligible for the CDM benefits, has been approved, and this is a great this was a great challenge for us, and we worked for it, worked hard in impressing on these countries, especially Brazil and South Africa, to agree to the stipulation that if we go in for supercritical technology for power generation, this would be taken as an increased efficiency and replacing the normal generation from the fossil fuel. This is a very, very good development, and I must inform all the learners in this regard. Thank you.
The next recommendation is ensuring energy security. That means reducing energy requirement and increasing production and use of energy efficient technology, diversifying fuel choices and supply sources. These diversifying fuel choices and supply sources is to provide security against supply risk, market risk and technical risks, so that if somebody stops the supply, then also we can have our electricity or energy requirements, market risk as well as technical risks.
The spinning reserve which we envisage, our policy says 5% spinning reserve. We should plan for it. Spinning reserve would mean that if in any case we plan for outages, but if there is a forced outage or unforeseen outage at any point of time, we must build a security to the system. Therefore, all our planning in whatever number we have discussed in the past presentations do take into account 5% spinning reserve scenario. It means that if there is a requirement of 1 lakh megawatt, we would focus our attention in execution of the project to 1,05,000 megawatt, and this security is being built, and by the end of the year 2011-12, we will have a reserve capacity of 3 to 5% to start with in our system, and this is also a part of energy security.
The other recommendations are boosting energy related R&D to take an innovative idea to a commercial application. And in electricity we have the standing committee on R&D to take care of the R&D requirements of the power sector.
One very important R&D project which we are taking up is called Integrated Gasification Combined Cycle Project, based on our coal route. Means we would gasify coal, generate gas of the required quality, and then burn it in a combined cycle project. This is a 100 megawatt combined IGCC project, which NTPC is required to build at Dadri location. Dadri is one of their existing power plant. BHEL is also involved in this research, and we are doing it in assistance with the US Nexen group, who is helping us on this. The coal has been tested, and I must report that there is a good progress in this. The efficiency of the system would increase by about 2 to 3%. These are the present indications. Why there is a low level of efficiency increase as against the expectations we had? We thought the system efficiency must increase to around 50% in a coal firing, but we are getting around 40%. Reason being that coal is of bad quality, the ash content is very high, and while we produce gas of the acceptable quality, while filtering this gas, taking out the suspended matter, the temperature comes down, and when temperature comes down, the efficiency comes down. But if this project succeeds on a commercial basis, I will say that this is the future of the technology, when we generate electricity by use of coal. There are other projects, but this was, I thought I must mention, as one of the important projects.
The next recommendation is regarding household energy security, then enabling an environment for competitive efficiency, multiple players in each element of energy value chain to compete under transparent and level terms. In terms of electricity, it would be multiple players in the generation, transmission and distribution systems. And we already have multiple players in generation as well as in distribution now.
This also means that if the consumer has a choice, suppose you are living in an area and you are not satisfied with the services being provided by BSES or Tata Company, then you can say that no, I don't want electricity from you, I want some other supplier. And then the system, whole system will have to be tuned. Means that the distribution company's network would be used only as the wire, like the road or a conduit, and they would take their charges for wheeling of this electricity, but you would have the choice. We are tending towards this kind of an arrangement in the power sector. I mean, this is the future. Like in any other country, you could refuse power. Then the net result of this would be that each company would give you certain incentives if you buy power from them, and try to keep their charges minimum so that their business grows. So I think we are proceeding towards competitiveness, low prices of electricity. In multiple players, if they are there, automatically the choice is more and the prices come down.
Means there is a possibility that in near future we will have multiple players in the market for providing the electricity.
I will say in very near future.
Okay.
I mean, very soon it is going to happen.
Because it will be very competitive and consumers will be benefited in that way.
Yes.
In fact, there is a provision in the Electricity Act for issuing multiple licenses for the same area. So 2 companies or 3 companies can take a license for the same area for supplying power, and they can use the same wires or make their own independent system. So that provision, enabling provision is there, and maybe people will now come forward, companies will now come forward for this. The next recommendation is regarding addressing the climate change concerns. As already told by Mr. Verma, we are now addressing the level of emission of CO2 into the atmosphere by making use of renewables, by using non-conventional energy sources, or by increasing the efficiency of our power plants.
This is one area. How we are addressing this issue, the climate change issue, is now the international forums are pressing hard for us to adopt certain policies and certain research and development in this area. One research and development is that the outside world is developing the technology for firing coal and generating steam at 700 degrees centigrade. So far our temperatures are limited to 565 degrees centigrade. So if it goes to 700, then efficiency levels are going to increase maybe by around 50%. And this research is going on in various countries have joined together, various manufacturers, and a power plant of around 450 megawatt is being built in Germany, and we are trying to associate ourselves with that power plant so that we are not left behind in knowledge and knowing that what is going on. This is one area. Second area is the carbon sequestration, and carbon sequestration would mean that whatever carbon dioxide is created by firing coal, now this carbon dioxide has to be separated out from these gases and buried, maybe underground. It has to, or it could be stored, or this could be piped to a common area where this will be stored for a longer time, or this can also be used for other applications, like in a gas field or in an oil field.
Other commercial applications.
This carbon dioxide can be used for extracting the gas and the oil from the underground. So carbon sequestration projects are going on in various parts of the other countries. But then from the fear of a policy decision by these developed countries, that suppose we participate and offer them a site, one of the site of our power station in India, For such an research and development, maybe we are compelled to introduce this technology in all our power sector. The primary indications, the prima facie, it appears that this is going to be very expensive. This will consume more than 30% of the power generated from our power plants. If we have to adopt the carbon sequestration technology with a view to improve the environment. Suppose there is a 1000 megawatt station, at least 300 to 400 megawatt will be consumed in this system of technology, and therefore it's very expensive for us. Therefore we have taken a decision that we are not offering, this is a policy decision of the government, we are not offering any of our sites for such an experimentation, but we would like to be associated with such an experimentation so that we know what is happening in this regard. This is another area which is going on. Third one is a project, zero emission project which is being developed with the help of US. A committee has been made where US is in the chair, China is the co-chair, and we have also associated ourselves with this by paying $10 million, contributing $10 million in this, so that we are kept abreast of this. But by such a small contribution, the IPRs are not being given to us, intellectual property rights. So we want to give a more thought in this direction, so that whenever such technology is developed, we become a party, and IPRs also do come to us. There are such many areas where we would like us to associate with a view that the environmental considerations are becoming more focused. One argument which we were giving, that the per capita emission of carbon dioxide is very low with us, because our generation is small as compared to those developed countries. Germany is like Maharashtra, but the installed capacity of Germany is the same as we have, in spite of the fact that our population is much more. And similarly, there are other countries like that, but the per capita, therefore per capita emission of the carbon dioxide is very low. Now we have been arguing in every fora that we are not the polluters in this regard, and therefore we should not be forced to adopt such technologies. Now the developed countries have found out another argument. They say we will not go by per capita emission of carbon dioxide, we will go by the level of carbon dioxide present in the environment, say 450 ppm in the environment. Then our argument is lost. So we are still struggling how to deliberate on that issue. Otherwise, we foresee some kind of a problem with us on environmental issue. Go ahead.
We come to an end of the recommendations of the National Integrated Energy Policy. Now there are some other policies also. There is the National Tariff Policy, the National Hydro Policy, the Rural Electrification Policy. So we'll first talk about National Tariff Policy. The objectives of this National Tariff Policy are to ensure availability of electricity to consumers at reasonable and competitive rates, to set the tariff in such a way that the consumers get electricity at reasonable and competitive rates, to ensure financial viability of the sector and attract investment, to promote transparency, consistency, predictability in regulatory approaches across jurisdictions and minimize perceptions of regulatory risks, to promote competition, efficiency in operations and improvement in quality of supply. So could you explain the tariff?
On the tariff policy, the government is setting some guidelines so that there is a uniformity of approach and things are reasonable. Otherwise, if it is left to the individuals, say left to the individual states, for example, then things may not proceed in the right direction. For example, the tariff policy, government has specified that there will be 14% return on equity. So we set a number. This number has been set by looking into the past record of earlier it used to be 16% return and on equity, and it was not defined that this is after tax, before tax, and some such things. So we found that actually that return was very high and it needs to be reduced. Now reduction of this return on equity brings down the tariff of electricity. Similarly, we defined that there should be, what should be the ratio between the equity, debt and equity. 70-30 it should be, or 80-20 it should be. So that has also been defined, that 70-30 is the minimum ratio to be preferred. But if someone wants to have higher ratio, this would also be considered. And so there are matters like this. Similarly, on the efficiency, it has been set out. It has not been totally left to the Regulatory Commission, because otherwise there would be a monopoly of the Regulatory Commission. So it is set out that the norms for the efficiency would be whatever is set out by the Central Electricity Authority. So CEA is to advise the Regulatory Commissions what have to be the norms for efficiency or the fuel consumption, etc., so that nobody is able to set kind of a fictitiously higher norms or lower efficiency norms, and then that would benefit the generators. So the objective has been that more things are in a transparent manner and the returns are reasonable. It should not result into higher cost of the electricity generated. That is the kind of tariff policy announced by the government, and from time to time these norms have been revised by CEA and given to the Regulatory Commission, which they are following. Similarly, this is Central Regulatory Commission norms are applicable to central generators. But then there is no provision in the Act, Electricity Act, that what would be the norms in the state sector. Now we have been emphasizing that these norms should also be applicable with the state sector, and it is a good feature that the state regulatory commissions are honoring these norms which are being adopted by the Central Regulatory Commission to be followed by the state regulatory commissions also. This is giving an incentive to the, forcing an incentive to the state generators to adopt the high efficiency measures, and there are certain grievances in this process. Suppose suddenly you tell the state generator who was operating at low efficiency that your norm is only this, I will not allow this more than this in the tariff. This is an implication of the tariff. So then it is not allowed, and the state utility is forced to introduce efficiency in all their operations, not only the operation of the power station but all their operations. For example, the deployment of people, and there are other matters, spare parts of the machinery, how to buy the machinery, etc. And that is how actually in a nutshell it is affecting efficiency and reducing the tariff.
Yes.
Could you tell something about the hydro policy?
Now, hydro policy is hydro is a sector which is very, very difficult. It is very easy to say that we must increase hydro, but hydro is the most difficult sector which we have experienced. 2-3 reasons for this. One is that it is located in a different terrain, Himalayas, and the geology is very difficult. It is very difficult to predict the geology. The rocks are tested before any excavation or any construction of hydro projects is taken up. Based on those testing of the rocks, the specifications are prepared, the rates are accordingly decided. Now what happens if these geological investigations are not complete or not comprehensive? Then the contractor takes advantage of this. He will test the rock and he will say that actually my rock appeared to be poorer than what was investigated. He asks for higher rates. There could be then geological surprises. After all, the tunnels are, it could be few kilometers long, it could be 3 kilometers, it could be 30 kilometers as well, depending on where are we building the power station. So it's very difficult to have the investigation all along the route. Only certain indicative investigations are done. Then there are geological surprises. Sometimes when the boring machines are used for tunneling, and you find that a low strata appears and suddenly everything is buried. The tunnel is also buried, the pan is also buried, and you are not able to take any action. You have to search for some alternate routes of this. So this is the difficulty of hydro station as far as their location is concerned. The second thing is that there are interstate disputes. Now a river is passing through 2 states. One bank is lying in another state. For example, Subanshiri river in Arunachal Pradesh. When we wanted to, this is a 2000 megawatt power station, and when we were building, suddenly there was a dispute with Assam. Assam has claimed that this bank of the river is lying in Assam, so we have also a claim on this. The other bank lies in Arunachal Pradesh, and Assam and Arunachal Pradesh are actually not very friendly to each other. And therefore there is a dispute on this and how to share the power. because there are provisions that wherever the hydropower station is located, the home state shall have a share of 12% free power. Free power. Now free power, now if the location of the project is such that it is lying in 2 states, now one will have to distribute this 12% free power in proportion to their geographical areas, or the disturbances which is occurring. I mean flooding will occur in both states downstream or towards the reservoir. There would be people would be displaced from that area. So this is another issue in this case. Now there is a big dispute on this 12% free power. The notable point in this regard is that electricity is a concurrent subject, but the hydro, water and water power, it is written in the Constitution of India, both are state subjects. Now more awareness has come in the states. They say that hydro is our sector, hydro power is also our business, and you should not interfere. I mean some such kind of things. So this is a very delicate issue. For building a hydro project, we have to convince those people, we have to keep them in good humor, and then we try to explain that this is national interest and you would be compensated. But of late, those states where the hydro potential is more, they are coming around with proposals like we will have, instead of 12% free power, 30% free power. The cost of electricity is increasing because of this. On one hand. On the other hand, privatization is coming. So we have to encourage the private people. When we encourage private people, then the private people succumb to such pressures of the states. Now states are demanding upfront premium. That this is a 1000 megawatt project in Arunachal Pradesh. If you want to build a project here, give us 500 crores rupees, or give us 20 crores or 200 crores, depending on the project size, etc. This is a very negative kind of step which has started in this sector, and we are struggling hard to deal with such issue. That is where the hydro policy is being revised. It is being revised in case of 12% free power. This is one number. We are suggesting that perhaps this free power may not be given in terms of free power, but it could be given otherwise, in kind. For example, this hydro 12% free power could be in terms of their equity. One can assume that with time, in a phased manner, this would be converted into equity of the state. That is beneficial to the state. And similarly, maybe that we introduce that when we build a hydropower station, the company employs their people, the local people in the construction. That is another way of incentivizing them. Some such provisions are there. When this will be approved, and R&R is another one. The rehabilitation package. Now every state demands something more. All of you are aware about the Tehri hydro project, and which has taken more than 10 years to commission. And every now and then the repeated somebody has been compensated many times for displacement. But these are the problems which we have to attend, and that is where the difficulty lies in the hydropower. And there is a need for revising this policy in consultation with all states wherever there is a potential, because without their consultation it is not feasible to build hydro project, because it remains as a state subject. This is what I wanted to say about hydro policy. Anything else?
Then we come to the next National Electricity Plan. The National Electricity Plan is to be prepared by CEA, and which has already been prepared by CEA and given out. The short-term and long-term demand forecast, giving due weightage to projections by distribution utilities and interactions with agencies having economic expertise in this field, is to be taken in the electricity plan. The fuel choices have to be made on economy, energy security and environmental considerations. The electricity plan should cover 10th plan achievements, 11th plan and perspective planning for 12th plan. The plan includes locations for capacity addition in the generation and transmission, considering economics, losses, load center requirements, grid stability, quality and security of supply and environmental considerations. Different technologies available for efficient generation, transmission and distribution have been taken into consideration while preparing the plan. The fuel choices based on economy, energy security and environmental considerations have been taken.
So you can see that preparation of a national electricity plan is not just a mathematical exercise that you know what is the demand and these are the plants and we select such plants. All considerations have been given due weightage to this, and somehow in some way or the another, if someone wants to know, tell me that what is your environmental consideration, how did you take care of your plan, we will explain you how have we taken care of such things. Similarly, fuel choices we have made. So the whole thing has to be optimized and everything has to be done in the most economical manner. And in this plan, not only 10th and 11th, 12th plan is also dealt, as well as a shelf of project is also identified other than beyond 12th plan. This capacity is more than 1 lakh of megawatt, so that because we have given the Act gives a flexibility, in fact, that anyone can set up any power generating plant anywhere in the country. There is no kind of a binding, no approvals are required. So, but then everyone would like to go in economically. Therefore, by and large, automatically, whether law or not, the electricity plan would be followed because of economics. But then, to keep up that flexibility, a shelf of project is also identified. If someone wants to come forward and say that I want to build this power project, okay, go ahead. Now everything is competitive. So, on a competitive basis, tariff will also be low. There are other features of the plan which have not come here, like we are building now merchant power plants. Merchant power plant is one who would build the plant on his own risk. We would not give him any long-term PPA. Where he is selling the electricity is not decided, and where he has to set up the plant is not decided. So a merchant, like a merchant, has to study very carefully the electricity system in the country. He has to study carefully the transmission system. Perhaps he has to find out the weaknesses of the system, because the businessman takes advantage of the weaknesses, and then he will set up a plant, and then if there is a need, if a system fails, actually the merchant plant would replace any regular power flow in the system, and therefore he has to be very careful in choosing the site. He has to be very careful in putting up the plant so that he takes advantage. He will sell the electricity at the prices which suits him, of course.
Thank you, Mr. V.S. Verma. Really, we had very nice discussions, very good interactive lectures. There was a good participation of the learners in the interactions from various locations, from the various regional centers and study centers, and really we are encouraged by getting the phone calls from the students and getting the queries. And we would like to have such type of live interactions in our future lectures. I would like to inform that our next video conferencing session is on the Saturday, 16:30 to 19:15 hours, means 4:30 in the evening up to 7:15, and on Sunday, 23rd of September. Please note this timing. It is little bit early. Instead of 10 o'clock in the morning, it is 9 o'clock, and it is up to only 10:45 that day. We have got only the 2 sessions on the next Sunday. So these are the timing, and topic will be the operations and maintenance, and we will meet on Saturday, Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Verma, for the coming here and giving such lectures and participating in the discussions. Thank you, Madam Anjali. Really, we are thankful for the discussions and the lectures and having the very interesting interactions.
Thank you, Mr. Padam.